You ever shoot your gun and wonder why the dot is dead on, but your rounds are still missing? Yeah, I've been there. But today we're fixing that for good, and if you've already zeroed your dot, you may still learn something new in this video. Whether you're rocking a rifle or a pistol, if that red dot isn't zeroed, you're basically aiming with a magic 8-ball. And side note, if you have astigmatism, give a green dot a try instead of a red or vice versa. For me, it made a huge difference. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to zero your red dot, step by step. Even if you're brand new to firearms, we'll cover the math, the gear, and pro tips so you don't waste time, ammo, or money. Let's get that dot dialed in. So what does zeroing actually mean? Zeroing a red dot means adjusting it so that the point of aim, the dot, matches the point of impact where the bullet actually hits at a specific distance. That's typically 25, 36, or 50 yards for rifles, and anywhere from 7 to 25 yards for pistols. When it's zeroed properly, where you aim is where you hit. Simple as that. Sort of. So here's what most beginners miss. Your zero is not universal. It's affected by zero distance, firearm platform, caliber, bullet velocity and weight, as well as elevation and temperature. For example, a 5.56 round from a 16-inch AR-15 at sea level was zeroed differently than a 9mm pistol at 6,000 feet elevation. Even switching ammo brands can shift your point of impact. That's why consistency matters. If any of these factors change, you should re-zero again. Always zero with the exact ammo you plan to carry or compete with. Tools you'll need. Here's what you'll need to zero your red dot. Your firearm and a red or green dot. A tool to adjust your dots, typically included, or use a small flathead screwdriver. A solid rest or shooting bag, or another way to have a stable shooting platform. Now keep in mind, if you're not a good marksman yet, that can greatly affect your ability to zero properly because your shots may not be reliable. The stable platform helps equalize this as much as possible. Paper targets. MOA grid is preferable. A range that allows for your distance of zero. Sharpie and tape. And optional but helpful, a spotting scope or binoculars. And pro tip, use a bore sight laser to get close before live fire. You align the dot with the laser at your desired distance to get a rough zero at home. It saves ammo. If you don't have access to one, you can co-witness the dot to your iron sights. Co-witnessing is when your iron sights are tall enough to be seen through your red dot window. So what you're going to do is on your red dot, you're going to adjust your horizontal and vertical adjustments to get that red dot sitting like a lollipop on top of that front sight. This will get you roughly where you need to be, but you still need to verify at the range. If you can't do either one of those, then you can zero closer at 3 to 5 yards to make sure you're at least on paper. Once you get a zero on the closer target, you can then move to your desired distance for zeroing. You may have to move out incrementally every 5 to 10 yards for a pistol or every 10 to 30 yards for a rifle until you get to the desired final zero distance. MOA, click math, and adjustments. All right, it's nerd time. Let's get into some quick and easy math. Understanding MOA, or minute of angle. 1 MOA is approximately 1 inch at 100 yards. At 50 yards, 1 MOA equals about 0.5 inches. At 25 yards, 1 MOA equals about 0.25 inches. At 15 yards, 1 MOA equals about 0.15 inches. And at 10 yards, 1 MOA equals about 0.10 inches. Now, most red dots adjust in either 1 MOA or 0.5 MOA per click. Always check your optics manual. Now, this is your formula to calculate clicks needed. So we have the shot group here. There were 4 shots. The red represents the center of this shot group. So in this case as well, this adjusts at 1 MOA clicks for your optic. And you're also going to be zeroing at 15 yards in this case. So first we need to know how many clicks does it take with this optic at 1 MOA at 15 yards to move 1 inch. The way we figure that out is you take 100, and that is where 1 inch equals 1 MOA, and you divide that by how many yards you're zeroing at. So in this case, 15 yards. That equals 6.66666 into an infinity, so we're going to say 7. So in this case, we need to figure out how many inches do we need to move on this target. So from the actual center, we have to go 1, 2, 3 left, and we need to go 1, 2 down. So for this particular case, we're going to take 3 to figure out our left, because that's how many inches we need to move on the target, times 7, because that's how many clicks it takes for 1 inch at this distance. And that equals 21 clicks. 21 clicks left. Now let's do the vertical. So we have 2 inches we need to move, times it taking 7 clicks at this distance to get 1 MOA. That's going to give you 14. So that's going to be 14 down. So after 21 clicks left and 14 clicks down, you're going to land in the center of this target. All right, now let me give you another example. So in this case, we have our shot group here. So you'll see that there is one flyer. We just ignore that one. So for this shot group right here, the center is this red. So same thing, we're adjusting at 1 MOA per click on our optic. So let's say in this case we're zeroing at 7 yards. So we're going to take 100 because that's where 1 inch is 1 MOA. We're going to divide that by our 7 yards, and we are going to get 14. So with that 14, that's how many clicks it takes at 7 yards to move 1 inch for the optic. So in this case, we need to move up 1, 2, and over 1. So we need to do 2 up and 1 to the right. So let's figure this out. So vertically, we need to do 2 because that's how many inches we need to move on this target. And it takes 14 clicks to move 1 inch. So 2 times 14 equals 28 clicks up. And now to move to the right, we need to move 1 inch to the right times our number of clicks, which is 14. And that gives us 14 to the right. So after 28 clicks up and 14 clicks to the right, that should land us in the center of this target. So now some of you are going to ask, what about half MOA adjustments or quarter MOA adjustments? Well, you're going to do this exact same setup. You're going to take 100 over your 0 distance, so we'll say 50 in this case. And whatever number you get here, you're just going to multiply that by the denominator over here. And that's how many clicks you'll have to move 1 inch on your target at that 0 distance. So in this case, if you adjust in half MOAs, then it would be 2 times 2, which would be 4 clicks per inch on your target. So for example, to move from here to here on this target, to move 1 inch on your target at 50 yards, you would have to do 4 clicks if you adjust in half MOA adjustments. Now if you move in quarter inch, then it's going to be the 2 you got from dividing 100 over 50 for 50 yards times the denominator, which is 4, and that gives you 8. So you're going to have to move 8 clicks to move 1 inch on this target. So to move from here to here, if you were at 50 yards and you're adjusting in quarter inch adjustments, then it's going to be 8 clicks to move that 1 inch. Always follow the adjustment arrows on your optic. Up is up, left is left. There's usually an adjustment on top for vertical movement and one on the side for horizontal movement. Step-by-step zeroing process. All right, let's walk through it like we're at the range together. Step number 1, setup. Mount your red dot correctly and torque it down according to the manual. Some require an adapter plate specific to the firearm and the dot. You should use blue Loctite or Permatex to hold the screws in place better. After you Loctite the optic to your firearm, you should wait 24 hours for it to cure fully before shooting. Set up a target at your chosen 0 distance in the proper environment to shoot a firearm. Buy the ammo you plan to carry regularly for self-defense or competition. Get a box of 50 for pistol and 30 for rifles. You shouldn't need that many, but if it's your first time, it's better to have more than you need. There's not much worse than getting 90% zeroed and then running out of ammo at the range. Step 2, fire a 3 to 5 round group. Use a steady rest. Aim at the same point each time, even if the hits are scattered. Put the dot on the same place on the target every single time. Don't chase individual shots. Look at the group as a whole. Step 3, measure and adjust. Measure how far the group center is from the bullseye. Use the formula. and make the necessary clicks for vertical and horizontal adjustments. All right, now what about this shot group? So in this case, this one is an outlier. I would ignore that one. Now for these three, the center is going to be roughly there. Now here's the issue. So now you are landing partway through this. So it's not going to be 1 full inch. So what do you do in this case? So you're going to do your formula again. You're going to take 100, which is where 1 MOA equals 1 inch. Divide that by our case, 10 yards. That gives you 10 clicks to move 1 inch. But in this case, ours is much closer to here. It's roughly halfway. So it's going to be about ½ inch. So if you need to move up 1, that's going to equal 10 clicks. But we only need to move up 1/2 of an inch. So we're just going to divide that 10 clicks that it takes to move 1 inch. We're just going to divide it by 2. So it'll be 5 clicks. So 5 clicks with ½ an inch to move is going to land you back in the center of your target. Your adjustments should be to move the center of your group back to the desired point of impact on the target. So in other words, where you were aiming. Step 4, confirm 0. Fire another 3 to 5 shot group. Adjust again if needed and repeat as necessary. When point of aim equals point of impact, then you're zeroed. And quick tips, if you're using your firearm at longer ranges, back up to those distances and confirm your holds. So for example, if you do a 50-yard zero, which is typically associated with 50 yards and 200 yards, both crossing the center line, you would zero at 50, then move to 200 yards and confirm that zero. After you have your zero set, use a marker. I like acrylic paint pens, and put a tick that touches the adjustment knob and the optic housing. This gives you a point of reference for if it gets knocked or vibrated out of place. You can also place these marks on your screws or mounts that attach the optic to your rifle or the pistol. Then you can see if the screws are backing out as well, and you know if you need to tighten them. Common mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1, adjusting after 1 shot. Always shoot groups of 3 to 5, then adjust based on the center of that group. Mistake number 2, not using a rest. Use a rest or a sandbag to eliminate movement and human error. Mistake number 3, loose optic mounts. Use proper torque specs when installing your optic. A loose mount will throw everything off. That is why Loctite is highly recommended. Mistake number 4, ignoring environmental factors. Elevation, temperature, and ammo brand all affect your point of impact. Always re-zero if you change locations or loads. Mistake number 5, assuming 1-0 works for every setup. Each combination of firearm, caliber, and ammo requires its own zero. This also applies if you put the optic on a different firearm or if you remove it and put it back on the same firearm. You just learned how to zero a red dot like a pro, even if you're brand new to this. Now, you'll actually hit what you're aiming at, assuming you do regular dry fire. You do dry fire, don't you? Let me know in the comments what distance you're zeroing at and if you've got any questions. I try to reply to as many as I can. I've dropped affiliate links in the description for my favorite dry fire products, red dots, bore sights, and gear. If you use those, it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share this with a friend who might be sending rounds into the dirt. Watch these dry fire videos to keep on learning, and I'll see you on the next one.